Hey everyone, I took 5 trades today. 4 of them were profitable, but they were small positions. Again, we had a big gap today, and I hate trading gaps. It's very difficult for me to trade gaps. So I took smaller position sizes, and my profit for the day was 1,537. So let me show you what I did. First, I took the Qs, and I took the Qs literally like 4 or 5 seconds after the market opened. Took one contract, and then I added 2 more during this consolidation. The reason I took that trade is because the pre-market activity was heavily bullish. That's why we had the gap. And when you've got pre-market activity that's bullish, it tends to continue in the regular in the RTH session, regular trading hours. But of course, I took it off way too soon because when it's a big gap up, I have a hard time believing that it can continue to go even higher, which of course it does most of the time. But it's just hard for me to hold on. So anyway, I took it in through this area here. Again, I only had 3 contracts. It was a very small position size, and at the same time, I also took AMD, which was consolidating above previous day high. So, and this was a very bullish price action above previous day high. So I took 3 contracts here as well, and they were about 1,200-1,300 bucks a piece. So that was a bigger position size. But again, I didn't hold it nearly long enough. I could have made a great trade on this if I just would have held on to it, but I didn't. So the first QQQ trade, I made $337, which is here. You can see it on the call. I made 337. I took another scalp later on a put. I'll tell you about that in a second. And AMD, I made 1,044 on that trade. So the next trade I took was Apple. Let me see what happened here. Apple, I lost money on this trade, and I took a short uh, right in here in this area here, assuming it was going to go down, and then again I took it off. I mean, I ended up being right at least temporarily, but this is just chop. I thought this was consolidating below the closing range of not yesterday but the day before, which is bearish. So it did end up flushing, but it was a very small move. I should have known because this was a marginal new low, not an impulsive new low. So whenever you have marginal new lows, then that's more indicative of choppy price action, which is actually tends to be bullish. So, and sure enough, I mean, this thing, it did flush, but then it came right back up. It hasn't done anything so far, but it wouldn't surprise me if this ended up rallying in the second half of the day. But anyway, I took my position off on this green candle, assuming that I had lost it. So I lost $144, I think, on that position. Yeah, lost 144. Next trade I took was a very, very small scalp on the Qs, which I also took short. And I took it short in this range in here. I forget exactly where. I made a tiny profit, but this ended up turning around and it looks more bullish than it looks bearish. But at this point, I thought it was probably a right shoulder of a head and shoulders. So this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this was the right shoulder. So that's the reason I took it. I was assuming it was going to break down, but it did not break down. So I did make a profit of $111 on my second QQQ trade. These are tiny, tiny trades. And then the last one I took was NVDA. And again, a very, very small position that I took. But I took it right in this area here because it was testing the base of this impulsive move. So we've talked about that in previous videos. So when you see an impulsive move like this, quite often the market's going to want to come back and test the origin of that impulsive move. And you can see that it's right there. And if you look to the right, it almost touched it. So I didn't even quite touch it, but I did take a position. I think I took 7 contracts, and then I scaled out through this move here. I was hoping to ride it all the way to VWAP, but again, I just got nervous and took it off quicker than that. So Made $189 on that. So again, these are very small trades, but I made a profit of 1,537. Here are my fills for the day. So here's taking the Qs. Actually, it looks like I only had 2 contracts on the Qs. I apologize. And then I took 3 AMD, and then this is scaling out of those positions. Here's the Apple trade where I lost money. Here's the Qs where I made a tiny profit. And here's NVIDIA where I took 6 contracts and then 1 more, which is 7. And then I scaled out through here for a very small profit. So I'm happy to be profitable, but my goal is at least 2,000 a day. So I certainly fell short of that. Anyway, if you want to learn more about my approach to trading, then visit my channel and watch the videos that have a yellow dot on the thumbnail. If there's videos that I think that have some learning there, some useful information that might help you, I put a yellow dot on those thumbnails. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.